The internet is currently very upset at PlayStation because it seems like they're about to replace Peter Parker. Going forward in the Spider-Man games, we're only going to have Miles Morales. And a lot of fans are very upset about this. So let's talk about it. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I think we all realize this, but the trilogy of Spider-Man games we've gotten thus far have been incredibly freaking popular. Not only are they selling tens of millions of copies, but people are even going out and buying PlayStation consoles to experience these incredibly good games. Spider-Man, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and now Spider-Man 2 have all been a huge boon. But definitely the best part of the new game was that we could play as them interchangeably. You could play through the entire game as Miles Morales or as Peter Parker, and they have different approaches to crime fighting, to the world itself, and of course their powers. But now it's looking like, according to a new interview, that we're just going to have Miles Morales from now on. So here it is. This is the quote that seems to be making everybody pretty upset. Miles Morales is the main Spider-Man from now on, say the Marvel's Spider-Man 2 developers. So I had to look at the interview myself because I figured this must be an incorrect quote or something. It just seems so shocking because, honestly, the fun of these games is playing as both. I love Miles Morales a lot. I mean, I've read the comics. I'm completely obsessed with Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, he is such a good freaking character. But the idea of doing these games completely without Peter Parker seems like such an odd choice. But here's the quote itself. At the very end of Spider-Man 2, they basically talk about the idea of Peter taking a break, maybe a vacation or maybe just taking a year off. But at the end of the game, and this isn't a spoiler, I'm not going to show it or anything, essentially, we see Peter Parker basically talking about the fact that he just needs to relax for a moment. And Miles says, I got this. I got all of this. Go be Peter Parker for a while. I can handle it as long as I can call you for advice. You don't need it, says Peter Parker. Now, when we heard this, it definitely seems to heavily imply some sort of future where only Miles Morales is Spider-Man, where we'll still have Peter Parker, but we won't have Peter Parker Spider-Man. Now, they decided to ask him. Gizmodo did an interview with the directors, and they said, hey, at the ending of this game, it seems to set up Miles Morales as the main Spider-Man, and they said, yeah, it always felt very natural, and I think we all collectively thought it would happen. To me, it shows a great deal of evolution from Miles. At the beginning of the game, we see him struggling to figure out what he wants to do with his life, and by the end, we had Miles carrying the burden of saving the city and also carrying Pete when Pete wasn't strong enough to carry himself at various points. That's what's been so cool about writing a story with two Spider-Men is they're both strong, and one of them can be strong when the other is not. By the end, Miles is more confident, and he's like, yeah, I got this. How much worse can things get after what we've just went through? So, while they don't explicitly say it, it does seem to at least hint that we're no longer going to have Peter Parker. At least not Peter Parker Spider-Man. And a lot of people are instantly upset. A lot of people are like, man, I'm glad they're making Miles so good of a character, but this feels like a bad idea. Of course he is. A lot of people are just straight up saying, like, don't get me wrong, I love Miles and the way the series would continue. However, having him as the only one going forward is bad marketing, in my opinion. There's so many options out there. Why not explore them and give the fan base something new? Now, the biggest part of this that I'm not thrilled about is a lot of people are assuming that they might kill off Peter Parker. I am a big Spider-Man fan. I have multiple Spider-Man costumes. I've read every Spider-Man comic you can possibly imagine. I've read all sorts of multiverse Spider-Man stories and classic famous ones like One More Day. I love, love, love Peter Parker Spider-Man. I think he's a character that deserves to be explored and really kind of hyper-analyzed. But Miles Morales is also good. That's why I love Miles, especially in these games. But I don't like the idea of if they kill off Peter Parker and they leave Miles alone. I just don't love the idea of that, of completely stranding Miles Morales in this universe by himself. Now, there is some hints in the game, which I don't want to talk too much about. Multiverse stuff, some Into the Spider-Verse stuff may happen. I mean, they already kind of showed some of that stuff in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This is the thing. I'm seeing some tweets like this one here that say the fact that people are still saying that Miles isn't a real Spider-Man is absolutely insane. He was a better Spider-Man than Peter by far in Spider-Man 2, My Relatable King. Now, I won't quite go this far. I do really, really like Miles Morales. I actually think Miles Morales is awesome. And I want to actually go a step further than this. I want another solo Spider-Man Miles Morales game. I want Miles Morales 2. I mean, not only did I love the original Miles Morales so freaking much, god dang, is this game just such a masterpiece. Of course, I platinumed it, but additionally, I like when Miles has to figure things out, when he has to adapt, when he has to learn, when he has to really struggle to save the day. But just having Miles without Peter permanently, that's my fear. Peter Parker going for a bit of a vacation, for a temporary retirement, maybe taking a couple games off. I'm totally fine with that because we have seen Peter Parker explored in some crazy ways. I mean, Peter Parker's fought in Vietnam, and Peter Parker's actually gone through the multiverse and fixed timelines and cloned himself. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of room for exploring the Peter Parker character. I'm just not in love with the idea of what if they kill him? What if they just completely put the character out to pasture? A lot of these people are just straight up saying, like, I don't quite agree with Spider-Man being better than Peter Parker, but I do love Miles. When I think about a lot of the stuff in the Spider-Man trilogy, each of the games kind of set up the next major villain. And in Spider-Man 2, they really kind of established the idea of Norman Osborn becoming the Green Goblin or some sort of major new supervillain. And personally, the idea of Peter Parker not being the main character for a fight against Norman, a character that has so much history and lore and backstory connected directly to Peter Parker, like Miles Morales kicks ass. I actually think Miles Morales is stronger. I like Miles Morales because I do feel like he's more relatable as that young, scrappy Spider-Man trying to really learn the ropes as he saves the city. But he does not have that same emotional impact that Spider-Man would have. Peter Parker clashing with Norman Osborn has a lot of extra weight that Miles Morales battling against him just wouldn't have. It'd still be a flashy fight, it'd still be cool, but it ain't going to be the same. Now, I find it interesting because this is one of the head PR people, and he seems to be mocking people's reactions to it. He tweeted out a minigame called Jump to Conclusions, acting like people are not properly analyzing the statement that they're now making Miles Morales the main Spider-Man going forward. Maybe we are still going to have both. I will say this. Let me just finish off with this statement. I love everything about these new Spider-Man games. I think Peter Parker is actually the best Peter Parker we've ever gotten, other than the fact that they made his face look incredibly stupid. I do still think the face change sucked, but this Peter Parker has so much incredible writing, so much fun emotion to him. He has so much glee. He has so much love. He has so much fear. He has so much actual anger when he has to face his own inner demons. I love this Peter Parker. I'm okay with him taking a break, or maybe even retiring to focus more on his science, because he does do that all the time in the comics. I just don't want him to die. If they kill Peter Parker and we only have Miles Morales, that's when I have a problem. But what do you guys think about it? Are you excited for the next idea of Miles Morales 2? I mean, I guess we're next getting Wolverine. Maybe we'll see Miles Morales teaming up with Wolverine. Either way, I guess we're going to figure that out in the distant future, but as it stands, a bit odd. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Oh man, one of these days I'm going to film a video in my full Spider-Man suit, but that might be a little bit too cringe. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.